Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode at our NUS Business School, our e-open house that we have today. I know we have answered a lot of questions about accounting, talked to our deans, but today we'll be focusing mainly on what do we actually do after having these 4 years at NUS Business School. Like what jobs do we can we go for, what internships can we go for, and today we have our passionate and dedicated career advisors from NUS Business Career Services, Mr. Riza Ong and Mr. Eddie Phua. So maybe I can let Eddie introduce himself first.
Hi everyone, my name is Eddie and with me is my colleague Teresa. Now we are both career advisors from the undergrads career advisory team, and our roles includes mainly employer relations, where we bring about jobs and internship opportunities for the students. Second part is with that we actually facilitate a lot of career events, recruitment fairs, workshops for the students. And another important part of things will be career advisory, and that's where we actually help students in terms of CV buildings, interview preparation, and job strategies. Yep. And my sector actually covers mainly accountancy as well as oil and gas and energy. And over to my colleague, Teresa.
I'm Teresa. I take care of banking and finance and consulting. Over to you.
Okay, so we have two wonderful career advisors from our NUS Business Career Services, and I myself, I'm a year 4 NUS Business. I specialize in finance, also very interested in consulting and finance. That's why I've been talking to Teresa a lot and receiving very good advice from her. So before I jump on to the questions that we have for the career segment, just would like you guys, if you guys have any questions, just put down in the comments so we can consolidate it together and also answer the questions that you have. Okay, so let me just start with the first question while you guys are still thinking of the questions. How does NUS Business Career Services actually prepare you from your career? Maybe I can start with Eddie.
Well, that is a very important question. And now I would like to share that approximately 60 to 70% of our graduates will have found a job by the time they graduate. Yeah? And of course, in career services, what we wish for is for every student to be able to find their ideal job by the time they graduate. And with that, we actually came up with a 4 years strategic success roadmap, right? And to start off with that, it started from year 1. From year 1, we have 5 mandatory starter career workshops. And this includes, 1, we talk about career planning, and from there to personal branding. We talk about networking skills, resume building, as well as networking skills. Now, how do we come about that? Now, how is that important? And nowadays, why does career planning start at year 1, example, right? Now, if you know, maybe in your case, right, you probably will have to secure a job maybe by the end of year 3, right, where most of the recruiters will now convert from internship. And sad to say also, from year 4, Sem 1, you will start applying for jobs. And you do not have 4 years. You only have, I would say, from year 2, Sem 3, you probably have 2 years. And that's why you need to start career planning from year 1. Yeah? And moving on, how do you do that, right? If you don't even have a USP, a unique selling proposition, that goes into personal branding. Yep. Once we get that done, once you know your strength, your USP, where do you go? You need to network.
Yeah.
You need to get opportunities, right? And therefore, after you have opportunities, how do you start to give your professional resume? And that's where resume crafting comes in. So once that is done, your first piece of marketing document, well, that only gets you through the hiring gate, but you don't get a job yet.
Yeah.
So in order to get that job, you need to excel in your interviewing skills, and that's where we come in, right? Now, of course, year 1, we cover the basics. Now, year 2, we started off with another 2 clinics, yeah, which is done by career advisors like us, and this is where you actually get a sense of the practical action moving, right? So, 1, we have the CV critic section, 1 career advisor to 6 students. Again, we have a mock interview session. So by the end of year 2, the entire cohort, 1,000 students, will have gone through both clinics. Yeah? And that gets them ready to get a summer internship. Okay, and I will leave year 3 and 4 to Teresa.
Okay, so other than the workshops that Eddie has already covered, we also do very industry-specific workshops. For example, if you're interested in consulting, we have case interviews in classroom styles, as well as in one-to-one with hirers that were ex-consultants to come and prepare our students for an actual interview. And that is very important because, you know, before an interview, we want our students to already be ready for that case interview, that it's not something that's shocking to them, and for them to actually secure that their job offer or the internship offer. So other than these industry-specific workshops, we also have a lot of networking opportunities. Like what Eddie have mentioned, we have prepared them in year one for all these recruitment events that happens on campus with our top employers. So in these networking events, the students get to meet the consultants and understand about the culture of the company, the internship opportunities, as well as full-time jobs. Right? Other than that, we have internship fairs with almost 80 employers on average across 5 internship fairs that we hold in business school, as well as 50 employers who are very interested in hiring our fresh graduates from NUS Business School by the time they're graduating. So all these are more like a lot of workshops and a lot of networking opportunities, but we do understand that you are unique with your own talents and your own abilities, so we have a lot of one-to-one counseling sessions as well. Where, you know, we look at your aspirations, we look at your strengths, we look at how do you highlight that in your CV, how do you sit there in an interview confidently to sell yourself and be able to land in a job, in your dream job.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Teresa and Eddie. And I think for myself, I was also one of the students who went through that, that very rigorous program that Eddie had mentioned about, writing my CV, going to networking events, and also doing one-to-one counseling with Teresa. Finally, also trying to land my prospective job that I currently already have. So maybe I could just summarize all the questions. We have a lot of comments now, so please keep them coming. I think those are all very interesting comments that I also had when I was also trying to apply for NUS Business School or like universities in general, right? So I think maybe just all the questions, I just summarize it together, right? They have this question about, do they need to apply for jobs that are relevant to their specialization? Like, does an accounting degree means I have to apply for a Big Four? Does a finance specialization means I have to do this kind of job? What do both of you think?
I would say it really depends. Not necessarily that you, say for example, if you're accounting students, it doesn't mean that if you want to go into, let's say for example, I would say any sectors specific, if you are getting into the accounting department or finance department, seriously, an accounting degree will do. You may not need a finance specialization, but of course, if you are applying to the banks, certain areas in terms of advisory or consulting in M&A, then yes, you will need it because you need finance, you need financial modeling, example. Yeah. Do you want to add on to that?
Well,
Maybe in other sectors.
We do, I mean, especially for consulting, we have students that take any type of specialization, could be marketing, could be finance. So I think usually people pick the specialization in terms of what you're probably most passionate about. You find like you can do well in that subject. But when it comes to a job, I think it's a very different skill sets of which we prepare you in terms of highlighting the key skill sets, be it analytical skills or problem solving skills in your CV. And that helps you in landing in your first internship.
Yeah, and I totally agree with both of the career advisors. I think for myself, I actually believe more of like what do you really want to do, right? So let's say if you want to do this particular consulting, finance, M&A job in the future, you go towards that. But your specialization might be independent of that choice, because if you're interested in marketing but you still want to do an M&A job, it's also possible to have such combinations. I think NUS Business School allows this flexibility and we have no restrictions in terms of what specialization you get and what final job you get in the future. So I think that's what really. Yeah.
Adding on to that, I guess internships is one area which you have to really focus on. Last year, the year 2 and 3 mainly clocked 1,400 internship placement just last year. Right? And we posted about more than 5,000 internship opportunity on our portal. As you can see, therefore, out of the 1,004, they land in almost 40 different industries or more than that. Yeah? And so therefore, that gives you that flexibility. And of course, don't forget that we have credit-bearing internship.
Yeah.
Credit-bearing internship, which gives you additional 4 MCs for a minimum 8 weeks internship, and 8 MCs for a minimum 16 weeks internship.
Yeah.
Right? I guess the school is very sportive, as in if you do it over 2 summers, you get 8 MCs, right? And also, I guess the plus point here is if you really want to penetrate into a sector, sometimes, or rather, a lot of industry now, especially the top tier recruiters, requires you to do a 6-month internship.
Yeah.
Yep, to penetrate into the sector. And with that, that's where the credit-bearing internship comes in. The minimum 16 weeks one will definitely help you. And of course, for some students, well, if you can't do the credit-bearing internship, you may choose to do an LOA, a leave of absence, which allows you, I think some students, what they do is in either I think year 3 SEM 2 or year 4 SEM 1, that's where they know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
And that is where they will dive in and say, okay, I will do this internship to get a conversion. I think that helps a lot. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say yet again, right, NUS Business has all these options that you can have. You can take a leave of absence, you can take these credit-bearing internships, non-credit-bearing internships, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, your 4 years of university life, ultimately, is still up to you to plan how you want to play it around and also adapt. So maybe we have talked a lot about like NUS Business and also the student's perspective. I think one question that people might also ask is, what are the employers actually looking out for? So yeah, and that's also, I think, a perspective that we can consider. That maybe I could let Teresa answer this first.
Okay. So I guess across the 40 industries that our graduates go into, we find that at least for a very basic technical skill that you should be very comfortable with is your proficiency in Excel and PowerPoint, right? And more it has also been a basic programming skills such as Python, which we teach in here in NUS Business School as well. So in terms of essential skills, right, we're talking about communication skills, right? That is both written and verbal, as well as being highly adaptable, because you want to be able to thrive in a fast-paced working environment. So these are usually some of the things that they're looking out for.
Just to add on to that, leadership is key. Yeah, the collaboration skills as well. I'll give an example. Let's say for accountancy, it's just so basic, but it's that important, right? Someone being meticulous in your work. Yeah, communication skills, like what she mentioned. Well, as an auditor, you need to communicate across different levels, seniority. Yeah. At the same time, I guess collaboration in terms of teamwork, that is the most important. So far, that I hear from many recruiters. Right now, if you can't work in a team, you can't work anywhere, isn't it? Teresa, anything else?
No,
No?
I think
Okay.
that's
So I would say like really for what employers look at is really the soft skills and the hard skills. Soft skills is more communication, leadership, about how you actually portray yourself. Hard skills are more of the skills that we actually learn in school, right? All the marketing techniques, marketing frameworks, finance methodologies that we actually are equipped to actually come together to actually deliver what the employers want. So I think now actually, I think all this talk has been very good for people actually have been planning and they already know what they want to do in the future. But what happens for students are still a bit uncertain. I feel like a lot of people applying for university are still a bit uncertain whether I should do business, whether I should do medicine, or like what's the final career I want to do. So as professionals yourself, what advice do you have for people who are still uncertain about what they want to, what job they want to do in the future?
Well, okay, let me take that. Now, of course, this is really an e-open house, but for over the many years, last 5 years, we have been doing one-on-one, which is basically face-to-face, right? Now, when I face with students asking me this question, as in, what can I do? I don't know where to start, stuff like that. But I guess the most important part is business degree actually gives you that flexibility, isn't it? Now, of course, once you get into medicine, it is really that specialized. Well, if you're not sure, I would suggest taking a business degree is the best, right? Because the amount of, we have less than the core modules at the same time, makes it very flexible where you can do a lot of majors, a mix of minors, and our 7 different specializations. I guess that is where you can come in to business school, basically, right? And try out your first year of modules, and from there, start to really scope. And how career services help you? We do something like what we call industrial mapping. When you're not sure which industry you want to go, I would suggest you narrow down to 3 industries. Yeah, and then from there, do your research, and that's where we'll help you. You can come and consult different career advisors in different areas, and then we narrow down to the functional area. And then from there, when you understand your strength, right, then you can combine that difference, and hopefully, by the time you're year 3 and 4, well, this is my plan A and B and C. Hopefully, if I get one of them right, I get my job. my first career. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eddie. So I think we're actually coming to like the end of our time slot. So just to summarize, right, I think careers is a big question a lot of people have when they're trying to enter university. And I feel like NUS Business actually offers all these flexibility trainings in terms of soft skills and hard skills that actually equip you to enter the workforce in the end. So I think that wraps up and kind of summarizes our session that we have until now. But if you guys are interested, the next session that we have, it's more of going back and talking to our students, finding more into their roots, whether what did they do during exchange, what did they do during year 1 and year 2, right? If you're interested, please join us at 1:30, and yeah, and that will be our final session for the AM program. Then we will start over at 5 p.m. for our next PM session. So thank you so much again. Stay tuned.
Thank you.